Well, very good afternoon, everybody. I hope your Thursday is going well. My name is Sandy Elson, and on behalf of the travel professional community and travelprofessionalnews.com, I want to welcome all of you and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us today. Today's webinar is being hosted by Travel Planners International. As always, we really appreciate the support we all get from TPI. Travel Planners International is a sales, marketing, and support agency for new and experienced travel professionals. Savvy, entrepreneurial-minded agents and agency owners partner with TPI for their forward-thinking, profit-generating marketing programs, their savvy social media support, small business training events and agent community building meetings, and time-saving back-office technologies. Truth be told, they describe themselves as a group of fun, good-looking peeps in Maitland, Florida, who spend their days and nights dreaming and scheming of ways they can make their family of passionate, sleep-deprived rock star agents so happy and profitable that they go to bed at night, usually pretty darn late, yelling, "Nailed it!" Our speaker today for TPI is the wonderful Jen Lee, Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Leaving her business consulting behind, Jen Lee isn't shy about her obsession for guiding and leading today's entrepreneurial-minded travel agent community. According to Lee, the travel industry is on the upswing, and this is the moment to remind the world that travel agents aren't independent contractors, they're small business owners. What matters to Lee is meeting with passionate, hustling, and driven entrepreneurs in the making who just plain get it. Appropriately enough, Jen's topic today is how to stay relevant when the world thinks you're irrelevant. Before we get started, a reminder that you are all muted, but we welcome your questions. You can type in your questions at any time in the question area you see on the right-hand panel of your screen. And during the presentation, if Jen asks you a question, you can type your answer in the same question area. At the end of the webinar, we'll get to as many questions as we can. Also, at the end of the webinar, Jen has an amazing prize for two lucky prize winners who have really been paying attention. I'll tell you more about that a little bit later, but as a hint, you're going to want to take notes. So let's get started. Welcome back, Jen.
Hey, Sandy, thank you. I'm so excited to be back. This is one of my most favorite things to do. Even though I don't get to see everybody's smiling face, I'm so used to speaking in front of people, and it took me a while for when I would ask a question, nobody would answer. So Sandy, stay on and answer.
Okay.
And listen, everyone, I definitely want you to take Sandy's advice, take really good notes. I'm going to throw some stuff at you that you may not have heard before. Some of it you may have heard, and some of it I'm hoping you hear in a different way and now fully understand how we can connect the dots. And then if you've got any questions, I am super easy. Type those questions in and Sandy will interrupt me. This is going to try to be as interactive as possible, seeing that I can't see you and you can't see me. So anyways, I wanted to talk about this topic mostly because I'm fired up. I'm still fired up. I've been in the business, for those that don't know me, I've only been in the industry for a few years. As my intro said, Sandy said during the intro, I had my own small business consulting firm for about 8 years. And in it, I helped little baby entrepreneurs launch their businesses. Anything from a CPA to a dentist to a lawyer, website designer, and guess what? Lots of travel agents. And I fell in love with all those service-oriented industries because it gives everybody a chance to really kind of set their own course, right? So you get to put your own personality into it. You get to decide who you do business with. The reason I'm so fired up, though, is unlike a hairdresser or a dentist or a CPA or a lawyer, they're relevant. We know what they do. We know and understand their value. So that's really never in question. And so when I started in the industry full-time just a few years ago, I've been like on this rampage to help the consumer base understand how relevant having a travel agent in their life is. And ASTA's been on a rampage, and you, the individual agent, you're constantly talking about it, and you're saying value. There's so much value in what we do, and unfortunately, it's not getting through. And that is the beginning of our reality, everybody. They still think you're somewhat irrelevant. So let me ask you, why do you think this is still a thing? Why is this, after all this work we've all done to prove our relevancy? And I don't want to insult anybody who's been kicking ass out there. Oh, by the way, I cuss from time to time, but I don't want to insult you. If you're kicking butt out there, then you are relevant in your sphere, and so you're doing a great job. If you're listening to this, chances are it's because you know you can grow even more, or you're struggling with this. So right now, I want you to just think to yourself, why do you think this is still a thing? Why do you think, and type those questions in or those answers in, and Sandy, tell me what they're telling you. You know, why is it still a thing that some people still answer the question, or still when you say you're a travel agent, they say, what? I didn't know travel agents still existed, or why would I need a travel agent? Type in what you're hearing out there. Sandy, I'm hoping they're typing in some
Yeah, we
things.
are
What are you?
getting some responses. One of our agents said online agencies make people think it's a do-it-yourself thing.
Correct. We know that's the
Yeah,
case, right?
another one said there's a misconception that travel agents charge more than if you do it directly.
Bingo.
Um, Another agent said a lot of people like to book themselves on the internet.
Mhm.
People think they know everything due to the internet, and boy, that's true. Um, because a lot of people are saying because they think they can do it themselves. One agent
Right.
says it's because we don't do a good enough job of self promotion.
There you go. Whoever said that, kudos to you.
That was Amy Hobbins who said that. Very smart comment.
Amy, good job. Good job.
Um,
Self-realization is the first step, right? In recovery.
exactly, exactly. I have lots of answers. Do you want to hear any more, or you want to?
Yeah. Share some different ones that you hadn't already said.
Okay. Well, one agent said there's a lot of negative media publicity out there about travel agents.
Okay.
There's a perception that home-based agents, in particular, are hobbyists.
Yes.
There are commercials for vendors such as cruise companies on TV that have a very wide reach.
Hmm.
And yeah, so another one said because of big online advertising, and
Hmm.
others think they can do it themselves. So that's basically the themes that we're getting here.
Right. Okay. So thank you. See, this is good. I feel like I'm sitting in front of all of y'all right now. So your answer is correct. All of those answers, almost every single one of them, were based on why they think you're irrelevant, right? And they are all valid. The only way we're really going to attack this and fix it in the consumer base is for y'all to understand that you're not irrelevant. This is a switch from them saying the consumer driving the conversation versus you driving the conversation. Here's the good news. The internet, as evil as it's been for our industry in the negative way by thinking people can do it themselves, it's actually opening the world up, individuals up to the world in a way that they've never been opened up before. So now they're more curious. They see that it's more doable because on Instagram, their neighbors went on that trip. And when they asked their neighbors said, yeah, I went on the trip. I just went online and read a bunch of TripAdvisor, blah, blah, blah. And so they tend to do the same thing. What we're going to focus on during this webinar are the things, the little things that you can do and some of the bigger things that you can do to change that part of the conversation. It is about you. It's about you making the switch, not them. And I promise you, if you're honest with yourself, some of the things that I say, hey, do you do this or you do that? You're going to go, oh, darn it, Jen Lee, you're right. I don't do this and I don't do that. And I'm going to give you those answers. But it's still a very real thing. The good news is more and more often people are saying, yes, I used a travel agent and I'm glad I did. And so I'm going to share with you some of the things to help you with that. But it really is about asking yourself, what is it that you're doing that makes the difference, that will make the switch? And so I'm going to ask this question. What's the difference in a name? There is something in a name that makes the difference. I want you to all type in there and tell me, when somebody says, what do you do for a living? How do you answer? Some of the typical answers would be, I sell travel, I'm a travel agent, I'm a travel designer, I help people fulfill their dreams through travel. Type in what you say. How do you answer that question? When they say, what is it that you do for a living?
Okay,
And
we
then Sandy,
we
how
have
they're saying.
several people say they are a travel consultant, a
Okay.
travel professional.
Mm-hmm.
One agent said, I am a travel advisor. I make dreams come true.
Mm-hmm.
One says, I create precious memories for you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Someone else said her answer is, I own my own travel agency.
Good.
I'm a small business owner. Several people have said that. I'm a travel planner specializing in family travel. So she gets her specialty out there.
Good.
I
Good.
am a travel specialist.
Good.
One agent says I plan complex travel itineraries.
Okay.
Another says I help people realize their travel dreams.
Love it. Love it. Okay. So whoever said I'm a small business owner, I own a travel agency, that's the answer I'm looking for. The difference is in a name, and I bet they're TPI agents because I drill this into them, or they've been listening to my webinars, right? This is your business, period. This is your business, period. The correct answer, all of you change it right now. When someone says, what do you do for a living? You have to say, I own a travel agency. I'm an owner of a boutique travel agency. I own a travel agency that focuses on family travel. I heard one of the answers was very similar to that. The answer is always I own a travel agency. Unless you are an employee of somebody else, because you're an IC means you're an independent contractor, which means you own your own business. It might be a business of one, but you own your own business. And that is the biggest switch that needs to happen in your minds for you to become relevant. Now, I'm going to give you some actual things that you can do to check to see how your relevancy is out there. So don't worry. But this is the mind shift that you all have to make. Even if it's your side hustle, right? So let's say your full-time job is you're a teacher full-time. If you want to grow your teaching business, which like I'm not sure how that happens, right? If you work for the public school system or even a private school, you're not out there selling to get people to join your school. I wouldn't even put that into the conversation. If it was my side hustle, I would say I own a boutique travel agency that focuses on family travel. I'm able to do this because I've noticed that the kids that I teach during the week, their families never go on vacation. Bring it in that way. Your lead dog has to be that you are a travel agency owner, not a travel agent and not even a travel advisor. Now, listen, I'm all about ASTA. I love that ASTA made that switch from American Society of Travel Agents to American Society of Travel Advisors. Love it. But don't say you're a travel advisor. You might use that in your verbiage, but the first thing you need to say is, I own a travel agency.
Jen?
Say to yourself right now. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, a couple of agents have asked, what do you say if you are an employee, not an IC, just a regular employee?
Well, then I would be mentally in my mind thinking that I am managing my book of business so that I can make more commission. So you're listening to this and I want you to take, I'm an agency owner out, and instead I would say I work for a boutique agency that focuses on blah, blah, blah. I work for a small agency. I work for a corporate agency. I work for such and such. And then in your mind, because you want to increase your business, I would be then, after you made that statement, I would then say, my focus is on blank, whatever that is. So if those people have something more to share, that just type that in. Sandy, please, y'all should type in kind of a retort to that.
Okay.
But, I don't want you to lie. If you work for somebody, then you can say, yeah, I work for this most amazing travel agency. It's on the corner of such and such and such and such. And my focus within the agency is this. What we're trying to accomplish here is getting you to understand that what you say, how you present yourself from that very beginning sets the tone of how they view you. When you say I'm a travel agent, then you are just an agent of a process, of an itinerary builder. I book travel. That's not what you do. You make money as an agency owner, and travel is how you make your money. That's what it is. Travel is your widget. Travel is the product you sell. Now, you do sell yourself, because I know someone's going to type that in there. You do sell yourself, but that is the tangible. That's what they get. They get a trip. So when you only say I'm a travel agent, or I book travel, then that's all they're looking at it for. So now you're looking at features and not benefits. They're looking at logic, not emotion. And if anybody has ever listened to me on a webinar or heard me speak, I talk about this all the time. People buy on emotion and justify logically. So you've got to start with the emotion. I own a business. Oh, I'm talking to a business owner is what their little mind is saying. Oh, she's an entrepreneur is how they view you. All of a sudden, you've gone up 7 rungs. This is somebody who's out there making it happen. They've got a business. Think about it the last time you've met somebody, if it was a graphic designer or a website designer or a CPA or anybody, a jeweler. If a jeweler came up to you and said, hey, I sell jewelry, what's the first thing that comes into your mind? I know what comes into my mind is like the guy on Seinfeld that has got like the trench coat and he opens it up and he's got all the watches. That's what comes to mind. He sells jewelry. I own a jewelry store. Now I see a store. Sadie, do we have any comments or questions?
No, not yet.
Okay, good. So all of you practice answering that question. I own a travel agency. I own a boutique travel agency. I also want you to think to yourself about, ask yourself, is my focus on building a bank account or is my focus on building a business? And again, we're talking the emotional switch that needs to happen right now. If you're wanting to build a business, then you have to ask yourself, do I have a financial worksheet that I have filled out where I know if I'm going to be profitable or not? Now, I'll give you a story behind that. And the reason I'm asking that question. Recently, ASTA conducted a survey of like 400 plus travel advisors. And one of the questions was, how many of you will be profitable in the next, I think they said in the next 2 years. Don't quote me on that, but that part doesn't matter. How many of you will be profitable in the next 2 years? And only 72% said yes, they would be profitable in the next 2 years. Now I'm going to tell you, out of that 72, I would say more than half are just going for the gut. Gut feeling is, yeah, I'm profitable because I don't think I spend much money, and I have made money, so therefore I'm profitable. The other 28% that said that they wouldn't be profitable, there was a large percentage that said they weren't really sure how to calculate if they were going to be profitable. Now, when you're a business owner, let me explain something. You got to know if you're going to be profitable. That's what you're in business for. If you're just in business to just pay for your own vacation, that's fine too. But let's make sure you make enough to pay for your own vacation, right? You've got to have profitability. At the end of this, I'm going to share with you guys my email address, and I have a little financial worksheet. It's a 1-pager that you can walk yourself through. I'll send it to you if you email me, and you'll just title it Financial Worksheet. And that will show you really quickly how to set your sales goals to meet your financial goals. If you've never thought about profitability, you're really focusing on building a bank account. I want to see you focus on building a business that has legs, that lasts a little bit longer. Any questions so far, Sandy?
No, we just had one person say that she says she wants to grow her business according to your examples.
Good. Great, but let's be more, what was her name?
Barbara.
Hey, Barbara. So Barbara, ask yourself, what does that mean to you grow your business? Like, what do you mean by that? Give me a specific. You want to grow it by a certain percentage? And what does that mean dollar-wise? What do you mean? You want more clients? Like, grow your business can mean a variety of different things. So I would challenge you, and you were the brave one to type that in there, I would challenge you and everybody else to say, what does that really mean? Right? I want to be successful. Well, what does that really mean? Right? So we have to make that mental switch internally so that every word that comes out of our mouths moving forward, right after this webinar, you're all going to change. Right afterwards, you're going to present yourself completely different. And that's what's going to make you relevant. That and a few other things I'm getting ready to share with you. All right, so this is your business, period. Act like it. Next. You have to create a clear vision of what you do, so clear that others can repeat it. This is the key. Others have to be able to repeat what you do. Here's some good news for you. You don't have to tell everybody in the world what you do. Now, I want you to talk often, and we'll talk about that and ways to do that. But write this number down, 12. 12. All you need are 12 people who clearly understand what the heck you do, are your biggest champions, and open their mouth when people are asking for or making statements, asking for referrals or making statements, like people who are kind of out and about. Are they really vocal on their Facebook page? Are they vocal in your networking group? Are they somebody, you know, in your family that's really your champion, but they have a clear vision of what you do, so clear that they can repeat it? If you can find 12 people, and sometimes it takes a year to find the 12 people, but if you can find 12 people who you focus on making sure they're up to date on everything that you do, you will build a huge business. And let me give you an example as to why I know. And so I want you to find your 12 people, by the way. Here's the way I know. I was talking to one of our travel agents the other day, and she's been in the business for a really, really long time. And we were talking about referrals. And I said, you know, how do you get referrals? She goes, I don't know. Sometimes people call me and they say, yeah, Jane told me to call. And she's like, I'm scratching my head going, I don't know who Jane is. And so one day she went into her database and she started like looking back, you know, the seven degrees of separation, the Kevin Bacon 7 degrees of separation. She started going back. So for this one particular client, she said Jane. And so she looked up, who's Jane? Oh, here's Jane. How did Jane hear about me? She went back and it was Fred. I'm making these names up, obviously. She went back, it was Fred. Oh, that's right. But how did I meet Fred? She went back and she goes, oh, I met him at a networking event. Oh, how did you know about that networking event? You know what? I think Mary introduced me to this networking event. She went back and said, now, how did I know Mary? Oh, Mary was sitting next to my hairdresser when I was getting my hair cut one day, and I gave her my card and she invited me to the network. That's right. Now, how did I meet my hairdresser? And she went back and she realized the person that really started all of this was Sarah, right? Sarah's the one that told her about the hairdresser. She was in the hairdressing chair that told her about Mary, who invited her to the networking group, and so on and so on and so on. So I challenged her. I said, do that for every sale that you've made this past year. Trace it back. And sure enough, it was traced back to 5 people. Just 5 people over the years that because they knew what she did, they passed that on. The next person knew what they did and passed it on, and so on and so forth. I don't ever want you to think that you have to meet all these weird strangers out there. There's connections everywhere. But it's important that you have a clear vision, so clear that they can easily repeat it when somebody says, I'm thinking about going to Europe. You want them to say, you got to call my girl Sandy. She is the best travel agency owner I know. She booked something for my family and I 2 years ago. Man, they're going to call you. So a clear vision, so clear that they can repeat it. Any statements or comments from that so far, Sandy? Because I'm going to go to the next.
Well, just somebody who's agreeing with you.
Okay, good. Oh, they're very smart, clearly. All right. So the next thing is, let me help you get clarity. Okay. Now I don't have time to go through this entire process. Maybe we'll do another webinar someday about this, but I believe heavily in you guys purchasing this book. Don Miller, I get no money from this. I'm just in love with this guy and I'm in love with this book. It's Donald Miller, Building a Story Brand. And what I like about what he has developed is he has developed a 7-step process for you to be able to really kind of grow your business through storytelling. And I don't mean frou-frou storytelling. I mean the same techniques that filmmakers use to tease you and entice you to come watch the movie. And then once you watch the movie, you realize they all have kind of a rhythm and a feeling for them, the good ones, right? But one of the things, and you can Google this and you'll find a YouTube video, it's about 30 minutes long, where he's helping business owners craft this statement. This is kind of the clarity when somebody says, what do you do? Oh, I own a small travel agency or a boutique agency. Really? You do? That's kind of cool. Tell me who you help or whatever. You can come up with something like this. You know how most families stress over planning the perfect vacation and people go, yeah. Well, we work with families to design, plan, and book the perfect experience based on their individual needs and desires. This allows families, to focus 100% on the most important part of their vacation, enjoying their time together and creating memories. What does that statement not have? It doesn't talk about you, right? Because they don't care. You want to talk about them. For you to be relevant, 95% of relevancy is them remembering you. And that goes back to so clear that they can repeat it. You need to come up with, people call it back in the day, an elevator pitch or a 30-second pitch or a sentence that sells you. Listen and buy his book or listen to some of his videos and come up with your own statement and make it very natural for you to be able to say it. But you always want to say, my travel agency does blah, whatever that is. It doesn't talk about you because you're irrelevant. Remember? They're the relevant ones, and that's where we want to make the switch. Make sense? Good. Well, hopefully everyone writes that down. Now next is, I love this alliteration. If you get to know me at all, I do alliterations in the office and I can make anything into an alliteration. So the next thing you want to do is pick perfect partners for a profitable path. Say that 10 times fast, Sandy. Pick perfect partners for a profitable path.
That's the 5P solution.
There you go, 5P. Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's good. I'm stealing that from you, Sandy.
Okay.
Relevance happens when you have information someone else wants or needs. Think about that. Write that down. Relevance happens when you have information for someone based on their wants or needs. When you're able to share something that they don't know, you become relevant, right? I'm relevant right now because I'm sharing stuff you don't know. You tuned in because the title was relevant to you because you're associating yourself with that for a reason, right? That's why you tuned in. Well, if you make yourself relevant, it's because you're able to share something that somebody else needs or wants that they don't have. So picking your perfect partners is essential. You hear us say this all the time, niche, 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 niche. Find a niche. I like to call it your lead dog. Find something you're really passionate about. And I know that sounds so, just flimsy, but it's so true. If you're excited about it, your confidence comes through. You have more energy doing it because you're excited about it. You dig a little deeper because you're excited about it. It's something you're passionate about. You can't go to sleep at night because you're so passionate about it. So niche, find who you really want to serve, and then pick the perfect partners. And I mean suppliers. Right? So pick the perfect suppliers or the perfect destinations or the perfect host agency or the perfect partner in your business. Like, you've got to find the person that really gets you and that you really want to dive into. When you have a lead dog, you want to then dive really deep into that lead dog and then say no to some of the other stuff. And I know a lot of them are going to fall over, but Jen, I need money. I know, that's why I want you to do this. I promise you, the moment you stop spending time on things you don't know about, that you're not excited about yet, and you focus on your one niche, you will increase your business tenfold. I promise you. Just trust yourself for 30 days to do it. Give yourself 30 days to say no to every other opportunity and only talk about and focus on the one thing that you're excited about, whatever that is. It could be rail, it could be cruise, it could be family, it could be romance. Pick one thing. It could be cat lovers, planning trips for people who love cats, whatever it is. Just for 30 days, give yourself permission, and then pick the perfect partner that's going to pay you a great commission and that has lots of training materials for you as well. Then dive deep. And I'd ask myself, how are you determining the perfect partner? And then once you do, what are you doing to partner with them? And here's a really big opportunity that I think a lot of travel agency owners who think that they're travel agents or ICs run into. You've got to pick up that phone and call that BDM. Call that local rep. Tell them, introduce yourself to them. Tell them that you are excited about their particular product and that you want to dive deep. They are desperate to interact with engaged, excited, wanting to be educated individuals like yourself. Ask them, how can we do a cruise night together? Let's do a Facebook Live together. Here at TPI, we with our partners, we do a thing called Vacation Nights, which is a consumer-facing live stream event where our agents are able to invite their clients to kind of tune in live to hear straight from the supplier. It's like a talk show type thing. Well, get with your local supplier and say, come on, let's do something together. They've got money to help you with it. How much are co-write articles together, co-write a couple of blogs together. When you see one another, take lots of pictures together so that you can use it multiple times. Get quotes from them on things, the hot tips. Tell them that you want to be part of their email campaign, but you want to actually have a relationship with them. Now, you could do that with just 5 partners that are in your niche, and that would create all the content you need to put it in front of your clients' faces and your consumers' faces, which I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But it starts with picking the perfect partner for a profitable path.
Jen, we have an interesting question here. One of our agents wants to know if you have a suggestion about how to pick one thing to specialize in, if there's a lot of things that she likes to do at the moment.
Okay, so that's a great question, and I get that often. I would say that, you know, you're probably a learner and a curious human being, which is great. Pick the one that might be something nobody else is doing. And so without actually talking to you to find out, I would say, you know, if one of the things that you really like is you like planning FITs, and, you know, Ireland is like your favorite place in the whole wide world. Well, there's probably not a lot of people out there that are just focusing on Ireland, right? They might sell Ireland, but are they focusing on Ireland? Did they change their accent to answer the phone with an Irish accent, right? Like, you know, what is the thing that you just think is really cool? And then put that up against who else is doing it. Cruises is too big. I love selling cruises. Okay, to who? What cruises do you like to sell? Not products. What kind of cruises do you like to sell? Do you like to sell the cruises where people are really getting immersed? Or you like to sell the cruises where people get to just make quick decisions, quick getaways? You're the queen of the quick getaway, right? Like, what within that, what is it that you really like? Now, at the end, there are 2 people who get to win something. So whoever just asked that question, pay close attention to those answers. You might win this thing that will help you talk to me directly. Anytime you're with those partners, I would brag about the fact that you are with that partner. I know this sounds so silly, but quite frankly, people think that what we think are BDMs, right, are representatives of these massive companies. I'm here with the Southeast representative for Royal Caribbean. You know, that's kind of a big deal. You now become a big deal in the eyes of somebody else, hence creating your relevancy. Because now you're attaching yourself and you're sharing information to people in a way that nobody else is doing. Just posting deals or even just reposting blogs of that doesn't quite do it. It's like, dive deeper. How can I do a Facebook Live? How can I do a video? I want to go to the headquarters. I'm on the ship. I'm talking to the captain. I'm doing, like, what are you doing? Get really particular about who you partner with, and then dive deep with them. Any other questions before I move on?
No, not yet.
All right. I'm hoping you guys that are listening are writing down the partners that you really want to dive deep with, and then reach out to whoever your host agency is or your consortia or whatever. If you're part of a host agency, then kudos to you, because host agencies can get you to like the big VPs, and the VPs are happy to work with even the individual travel agents within agency owners within a host agency. At least ours are, because I tell them they have to, and they listen to me. People do what I tell them to do, Sandy, and big things happen for them. All right, next, be out there often. So what does that mean? Relevance can only happen if you're seen, and you're really seen, like physically seen, right? So here's some things to ask yourself. What's your true social strategy? And when somebody, and I see this a lot within our agency group, when agents say, my goodness, my next door neighbor just bragged about how she booked her own cruise. How do I handle that? You handle it by calling them out lovingly, respectfully, but you say, oh my goodness, it looks like a great cruise. I was just on that ship 2 years ago. Or, oh, I've put a lot of my clients on that ship. Next time you're looking to book a cruise, I sure hope you remember to call me, because I've got some insider tips to help you out. Call them out. Post right there on that Facebook page. Go right into the comments. Do not be shy about it. Too many people are too shy about social media strategy. Take on those naysayers. Make sure you're on LinkedIn, and that you're posting things on LinkedIn as well. Even if you don't think you have any clients on LinkedIn, you'll probably be one of the few travel agents out there that are posting things on LinkedIn. And believe it or not, LinkedIn's coming back strong. It's not that it went away, but that's a big opportunity for y'all listening. Jump on LinkedIn and post there often. Be out there in your community. We surveyed some of our top agents here at TPI, and we asked them, what's one of the things that you do consistently that generates your phone to ring? And they said volunteering and being in the community. Pick a nonprofit that you're passionate about, and then again, dive deep with that. Be on the fundraising committee, be part of the gala committee, volunteer to take tickets, to sell tickets. Go to every single meeting that you possibly can on that one. Volunteer, because you automatically have kindred spirits, because the people that you're around are the same people that are passionate about that you are. So choose a volunteer opportunity and be in your community. Get out of the house. You got to take a shower, get dressed, and get out. And then choose one networking group. A lot of people ask me about BNI, and I think BNI is great as long as you're committed to it, but there's others out there as well. Is it the chamber? And then carry those business cards. Talk about what you do all the time. When you're given the opportunity to share, when you know how they tell you, oh, now's your turn, you get to spend 15 minutes talking about what you do. Don't talk about what you do. Talk about, give them tips. 12 things that I have learned over the years that most travelers benefit from the best. And you share tips with them. Don't talk about you. Talk about them. Be out there. They're going to remember you. All right. And then remember, you really need to only turn on 12 people and get them super excited about what you're doing. All right. Any questions for this one, Sandy?
Yep. I have a comment that I think is really important. One agent said, I just reached out to my BDM today and had a phone training one-on-one session to help me build my riverboat wine cruise business.
Yay. Awesome. So I would post about that. So if that BDM gave you 10 tips, I would say to myself, what are 10 different posts that I can post on social media? If you're a writer, then do a writing thing, like write a blog. Here are 10 things that I learned that people who river cruise, you know, I bet she gave you stats, right? Like 72% of the people that are river cruising right now are foodies, right? Whatever stat she's given you, and if she has it, call her back and get those stats. Find out those stats and start posting those stats. I promise you, people will start Facebook messaging you. If you don't like to do a lot of writing, if you're good in front of the camera, just grab your phone and say, today's tip I learned about river cruising is this, or hey, did you know? Create all that training that she gave you and create some did you knows to complement the other things that she shared with you to do. All right. All right. Good deal. That's excellent. All right. Next, the little things count. Now, start writing these little things down. And again, we went to our agents and asked them, what are some of the things that you do that you think makes just a tad bit of a difference that turns a potential shopping consumer into somebody who wants to do business with you? And these are what they said. Number one, I can't believe this, spelling and grammar. Make sure when you're sending an email, you've spelled the words right. You're using proper grammar. You're not doing too many emoticons or emojis in there. People, if they're going to spend $5,000 on something, they want to make sure that they're investing that money not only in the product that you're sharing and selling to them, but with you as well. Invoices, your invoices need to look professional. You know, if your logo goes onto an invoice and it's not a vector, which means it's like see-through so that you don't see the background, get back with your graphic person and tell them, send me a vector. The worst thing you want to see is like this box, like somebody like copied and pasted a box of a logo and it's not professionally done. That makes a difference. It makes a difference. And ask yourself, if you were to buy a new pool or a roof, or hire someone to do some plumbing or anything in your home, if they showed up or they emailed you with misspelled words and grammar, or if they produced an invoice that kind of looked like they just went to Home Depot or, I'm sorry, Office Depot and bought blank invoices, you're not going to have as high of a level of confidence with them as you would with someone who shows up with a great looking invoice. It makes a difference. That's number one. Number two, how are you answering your phone? Do you say, hey, this is Jane? Or do you say, thank you for calling Jane's Travels? This is Jane. How can I help you? How are you answering your phone? If you were at home or if you had a landline and you were in an office, trust me, you would not answer it, hey, this is Jane. Everybody knows that. It seems like when we get out of an office and we're walking around with our cell phones, we just think we need to just say, hey, this is Jane. You got to answer at your company name. Simple little things. Number 3, your auto responses. They need to be thoughtful on your emails. If you have to be out for whatever reason, be thoughtful with that auto response. One of our top agents, when she was invited to our top agent retreat, her auto response was, thank you for reaching out. Right now I am in Europe celebrating my top agency award with 30 other top agents, in the country. I'm excited to still, help you, blah, blah, blah. And she went on to say, I'm available, just be aware of the time difference. Well, she plugged herself as an agency owner, and she plugged herself as being on a top producer retreat. Let me tell you, that means something for somebody who's just reaching out for the very first time. One of my favorite people in the whole wide world, unfortunately, has the worst auto response I've ever seen in my entire life. And I tell her all the time, and she still hasn't changed it. So I hope she's listening again. I won't use her name. But she has an auto response that says, hi, thanks for reaching out. I'm very busy booking other clients. It'll take me 24 to 48 hours to get back with you. What? Can't believe it. Be thoughtful with your auto response. Next thing, what does your information say on all of your profiles? Go and dig deep into your Facebook profile. Here's the thing. I think in coming years, you won't even need a website anymore. It's so funny because I have people, we offer a free website here at TPI, and I hate it because I'm like, I need you to spend the $10 a month to get yourself a decent website. Something that actually gives you a chance to say who you are. You don't need a booking engine, people. I don't know why people want booking engines. I'm like so anti-online booking engine. I just don't get it. But I think in 5 years, you won't even need a website. You know what happens now? And ask yourself, you do the same thing. If somebody says, call Charlie, he's a great painter. You say, what's Charlie's last name? And then what do? Now, I know you're shaking your head because you're going to start laughing. The second I say this, you go to Facebook and you type in Charlie's name. That's what we do. We use Facebook as our verifier. And then if Charlie's got some freaky picture of himself as a profile, is Charlie getting the business? No. If Charlie's got a picture of his family, and maybe he's got in his info that he owns he's a owner of a painting company, and he's passionate about his community, you're going to call Charlie. You're not going to call Charlie if he has his shirt off and he's doing a selfie in a mirror. So ask yourself, what does my profile picture show on my Facebook page? Because that's really your website. And then what's the descriptions that I have written down there? Have your phone number there. If you don't have a physical address and you have a P.O. box that you want people, put the P.O. box in there. Fill out every single thing, including your likes and dislikes. Try to stay away from the political stuff if you can, but go ahead and put down some of the movies that you like, the books you've read. Fill out your profile completely. That's a connection piece. That's what people do. Same thing with Instagram, same thing with LinkedIn. All right, go ahead. Hit me with any questions or any retorts to that statement.
One of our agents wants to know, what if you have one cell phone for both home and office? Is it a problem managing the incoming calls?
No, you need to answer the phone as your business. Your personal people, like your parents and your sisters and your friends, they should know you own a business. So answer the phone as your business. Everyone should know that that's your business.
Okay, another agent wants to know, if they have a complete profile on Facebook, can they leave out their home address?
Sure, absolutely. You don't need to put your home address, but you should have some sort of an address that people can send stuff to you. So, invest in a little mailboxes, etc., P.O. box or something. Okay. Or you can put like the city you live in, right? I live in Oviedo, Florida. You can just put that in. But no, you don't have to put your home address on there.
And one other agent suggested to our agent with one phone that you can get a Google Voice number for your business.
Absolutely. But I would just answer my cell phone. I don't know why you need to go any crazy unless you're doing this on the down low and you don't want anyone to know that you're a travel agency owner. And if that's the case, we got some problems here. Everyone should know. Everybody in your life should know that you're passionate about building a travel agency business. Everyone should know that. I would just answer the phone as my agency name. I just love those questions because and I just want to make sure you guys, y'all aren't any different than 95% of the other industries out there. You have the same, because I've worked with every single one of them. Those that are doing this kind of as a side hustle, they automatically think, this is just a side hustle. Well, you know what? That's why it's going to be a side hustle forever then. And if that's the case, then that's the case. But you wouldn't have tuned in if you didn't want to get more sales. Because you're listening to this, I know that's not how you feel. And that's not how you think.
We have one more question about BDMs. One of our agents says that she works for an agency where the owner doesn't like to reach out to a BDM unless there's a problem. So how can she go around that and get training or whatever else she and the BDM can do for each other when the agency owner doesn't think that she should?
Have that agency owner call me. They should join TPI, Travel Planners International, so that you can get the support you need. That's absurd. Why you don't call? Let me explain. Let me explain something. BDMs are there because they are trying to grow the business. They are not the customer service. I can't get an onboard credit from corporate, so I'm calling you people. Now, trust me, many of them have to be part of that process, but that's not what they get compensated for. They get compensated for growing product awareness, capturing additional market share, and growing sales. They don't really want you to just call when there's a problem. When that's the case, guess what? You're not going to get a lot of help. So tell your agency owner she can call me or he can call me, and I will school them on what's the reality out there. However, if if they don't want to call me, I think I would say I'm looking for some additional training. I want to reach out to this business development manager because I heard on this webinar that I should, and just have them call me. You won't get in trouble. And if they do, then I'd quit and find somebody else to work for.
Great, thanks.
Just being honest. I want you to grow your business. What else? Anybody else?
That's it for questions for now.
All right. Well, I've got a couple more things, so we're not done yet, Sandy. You know me. I got lots to talk about.
And we want to hear it.
The little things that count, I'm going to repeat them. Watch your spelling and your grammar. Your invoices should be professional. Answer your phone with your company name. Make sure your auto responses and your signature are thoughtful, that they're not about you, that they're about them, and it's showing some relevancy, how you're so relevant in the industry. Double check all your information on all of your social media platforms and your website. What does it say about you? Make sure you are easily accessible. And then the last is be thoughtful when you're quoting. One of our top agents, when I asked this question, what are the little things, he said that he was surprised by the number of people who don't take the time to slow the customer down a little bit to get to know them a little bit. A lot of times you might get a message, hey, I'm thinking about going to Europe. Can you quote me on, 5 nights, party of 4, I need flights and everything. Can you send me a quote? Well, who can send a quote on that, for God's sake? Nobody. It's up to you to say, you know what, this sounds like a great experience that we're trying to craft together. When do you have 15 minutes for us to get on the phone so I can ask you some additional questions? And then take that 15 and ask for another 10 while you're on, and get to know that client. Get to understand them. One of the things that's happening out there in this world is artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence basically takes into account all the things that you're making decisions about online right now, weaves them into profiles, so to speak, for lack of a better word, and utilizes that information to help you make better decisions by them serving up the options that will most likely meet your needs. I don't know if you followed me when I said that, but basically it's taking into account everything that you're already choosing, understanding that that's who you are. You're a Ritz-Carlton person who flies Delta, who orders from Wayfair, and you're redecorating your house because you've been on a spending spree lately, yada, yada, yada. Takes all that information, and then when you Google, I want to go on a cruise, it's thinking the companies, the Royal Caribbeans and the NCLs and all that of the world are serving up the best option for you based on what we know about you already. The travel agent has a better opportunity of doing that than any computer at this stage of the game, and even moving forward. Do not discount the fact that those questions that you ask, the number one question is, what's motivating you to call me? What's motivating you to want to go to Europe? That's the question to ask. Not why do you want to go to Europe? That's the wrong question. The right question is, what's motivating you? That motivation is the emotional hook that you need to ask the additional questions that paints the picture in your mind so clearly that when you serve up the options, they go, damn, this girl gets me. You can't do that via text and a Facebook message. If someone emails you via Facebook, do that extra little thing, check out their profile. Check out who are your mutual friends. Check out how many friends they have. Check out what they like. Find what they're posting. That'll give you a little insight, and then make the call. But don't try to kid yourself. You're irrelevant if all you're doing is gathering facts to put into Google or to put into your cruising power, and then you're going to serve up an answer that they could have done themselves. Hence the reason why people think we're irrelevant, because we're not taking the extra step to be relevant. That's all it is, you guys. All the things we just talked about, that's what it is. That's how you become relevant. You put the human factor into it. So make sure you take time when you're quoting. Ask lots of emotional questions. Any comments on that one there, Sandy?
We don't have anything on that. We had another question on a BDM. I don't know if you want to go that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and we also want to leave time for this wonderful prize giveaway. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so this agent says, I would like to work with a river cruise company and have reached out to my BDM numerous times, but she never has time. She refers me to the agent website. She has contacted the inside sales rep, but she wants to know if the BDM would be willing to help with cruise nights, and the inside rep can't help with that. So she wants to know if she should just find another river cruise company.
I would say yes. I would do one of three things. One, are you part of a host agency? If you're not part of a host agency that wouldn't pick up the phone and call that BDM, shame on you. You need to be part of a host agency that will do that. Number two, I would call the BDM. I would call the VP of sales for that company. Just call the VP of sales and say, hey, I got to tell you, I'm trying to work with Jane and ABC River with you guys, and she just refuses to spend any time with me, probably because I haven't sold a lot, and I have a whole plan for a great cruise night. Who's somebody else that I can work with at your company? If that person says, oh, I don't know what to tell you, please continue to reach out to Jane. Next, go to the next river cruise line.
Great advice.
Here's the thing, you guys, we are rechaining these suppliers. The whole thing that ASTA did, calling you taking you away from being a travel agent to being a travel advisor, switches the entire power structure. The travel agent was an agent of the supplier in the past. That is no more. You are the advisor of the consumer. And so you need to find partners. What was our alliteration? Perfect partners, blah, blah, blah. I hope somebody wrote that down. Okay. So my challenge to you, and we've only got a few minutes left, what will you do to become more relevant right away? Out of everything that we talked about today, what are the one or two things that you're going to institute this week? Today's Thursday. If you're listening to us live, if you're listening to us later on, what are you going to do in the next 48 hours? I don't want you to let the next 48 hours go by without you implementing one of those small things. Make one of those changes out there. How are you going to introduce yourself? Are you going to buy the Don Miller book? Are you going to refer to yourself as a travel agency owner? Are you going to niche yourself, find a lead dog, and give yourself that 30 days to dive deep? Find that perfect partner for a profitable path. Who is that? What's your social strategy? Are you going to make changes and volunteer? Are you going to join a networking group? Pick two things in the next 48 hours that you can implement right away. Don't let yourself off the hook. You can do this.
Okay, and we're getting a lot of feedback about how people are going to change how they present themselves. A lot of people will say they are travel agency owners. One person said she's going to find her 12 people to champion her. There's a lot of answers. And just to let our agents know, Jen will be able to see all of these answers and questions later on down the road. So if we didn't get to your question or your response, Jen will be able to see it at another time, after the webinar. So, Jen, are we ready for the prize giveaway? Or
all right, up there in case anybody wants to take advantage of that financial worksheet. Please email me and I'll send it to you. That's jenl@tpionline.com. I'll send that to you or answer any questions. But yeah, let's give away some stuff.
Okay, so this has been absolutely fantastic as always. And you'll also see in the comments, Jen, that a lot of people are saying this has been fantastic and great information. So let's do the prize giveaway. And you're going to love this, you guys. Jen is giving away two different people a 30-minute private session with her.
One-on-one.
One-on-one for 30 minutes. Have your tape recorders on. Do whatever you have to do to win this prize. And this is how it's going to work. Jen is going to ask a question, and the fifth correct answer I see come across my screen will be the winner of 30-minute session number 1. And then she will ask a different question, and the same thing will apply. The fifth answer I see come across my screen will be the winner of coaching session number 2. So if everyone's ready, go ahead, Jen, with your question, and I'll let you know when we have a winner.
All right. So Sandy, I forgot to print the 2 questions. I know what they are, but they might not be exactly the way I had sent them to you. So
okay.
Can you read them?
Yeah, I'll read them. Okay. So, and then if you want to edit them, go ahead and do it. And I want to let our agents know I'm only going to count the answers that come in after I finish reading the question. So don't try to telegraph what it is because I can't count that. So here's question number 1. Make it crystal clear to your peeps what you do, so clear that it is what? I know you said that, Jen, in your presentation.
It is, I'm working for one word, or so clear that they can what?
Okay, we're getting a lot of correct answers, so let me see who's number 5. Okay, we got a winner. The correct answer is make sure that it is repeatable. And the fifth correct answer I saw come across my screen was typed in by Joanne Hurd. So congratulations, Joanne. We are going to pass your information to Jen, and she'll get in touch with you about redeeming your session. So let me clear my screen here. Oh my gosh, Jen, you'll be so excited to see that we got so many correct answers. Everyone's been listening.
Good.
And here's question number 2. And remember, I'll take the fifth correct answer that I receive after I have finished reading the question. Complete this alliteration proactively and what? Pick perfect partners for a profitable path.
God, I hope I put that up there.
You know, Jen, I'm not sure.
I don't think I did. I just realized.
Okay.
So we'll do it this way. Oh my goodness, I just realized that. I didn't type it in there right. It's proactively and purposely pick perfect partners for what? Just answer the last one.
For what?
And
I'll give you a hint. It's 2 more P's.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I just realized it.
So proactively and purposefully pick perfect partners for what?
What? 2 more P's.
Okay, we have a winner.
Good.
And the 2 more P's are pick perfect partners for a profitable path. And our winner for this 30-minute session with you, Jen, is Chanley Trump. So Chanley Trump. We're going to stay away from politics here, but her name is Chanley Trump.
Oh, I love it, Chanley.
Congratulations, Chanley, for winning this 30-minute session. And again, congratulations to Joanne Hurd for winning a 30-minute session. Jen, this has been absolutely fantastic. Our host today for this webinar has been Travel Planners International, and our amazing speaker has been Jen Lee, Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Jen, thank you so much. This was just absolutely fantastic.
My pleasure.
And I want to thank
pleasure, guys. Go out there and make big things happen. We believe in you. And thanks, guys, for joining us.
And I'll add my thanks to everybody for taking time out of your day to join us today. I know that you got a lot out of it. So thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.